Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm known as Jedidragoon on Ravelry and Instagram, and pretty much all over the web. This is podcast number 6, and the only reason I know that is I was looking it up yesterday. So, well, let's just get into what I finished these past 2-3 weeks, which isn't a whole lot, but I'm a mom of 3, and it's been busy. That, and I've also got into spinning, and that takes longer. So what I finished is a skein of yarn. This is Witchy Stockings by Blue Barn Fibers. It's these bright pinks, yellows, and purples. It's really squishy yarn. I spun it on my drop spindle. It's 2-ply. Mainly because I haven't ventured out into 3-ply, and I also think I get more yardage this way. I also looked up, checked to see if plying it 3-ply and all that did anything. Once you get past 2-ply, it doesn't really add to your strength that much. And I couldn't get a clear answer, yes or no. So I'm just sticking to 2-ply because it's easy for me, and maybe I'll get into 3-ply someday. But this, out of 2 1-ounce roll lags, I got 78 yards. Well, 78 and a half. But I'm not going to worry about that part. And this is a Polworth and silk blend. Polworth is the sheep breed it comes from. And apparently it's popular for yarn and sweaters and that. That's what I could find. And before I got into details, I didn't write it down. But, so, this is my one finished object. And I'm probably going to send this to a friend of mine who loves these colors. And she's probably watching this. Because, yeah, it looked cool. It looks neat. It's just not my colors. These, my colors. These, a little bit too neon for me. My sister would probably like it. But my sister doesn't knit, so. So that's my one finished object for 3 weeks. Well, actually, I have another finished object, but it's not quite done because it's still drying in the shower. I finally finished up my hobbledehoy pet frog spinning. 4 ounces. And I don't know if anybody else is like this or not, but 4 ounces takes forever to spin. I've been spinning that stuff for like a month now, I think. But it's done. It's hanging up in the shower. I'll probably show it next podcast when it's dry. So, my next section is, what am I working on? So, I have a few things I'm working on right now. The first is, I decided I'd dig out and get back to work on reviewing this Angora. Sorry, the ball's a little messy. It's been in a bag and tossed around and stuff. Is working on my Kartopu Angora Prince yarn from Hobium Yarns. It's a fingering weight. It's 80% acrylic, 10% mohair, and 10% wool. And the color is H1826. Yeah, they only list numbers. Which kind of annoys me, but I'm not the one who names yarn. And I'm pretty sure after several skeins of making yarn and stuff, if I was like a manufacturer who makes like thousands, I'd be like, yeah, let's just assign a number to it. But anyway, so I've been working on my Barley Light hat. For the ribbing, I used number 3 needles on a 16-inch circular. And the ribbing's like 1.5 inches. That, if anybody out there doesn't knit or anything like that, that doesn't seem like a lot. But it takes forever. Well, not forever, but it seems like forever. I just get bored of ribbing. And then the main body, I'm using number 5 Knitter's Pride Dreams, which this was Knitter's Pride Dreams also. I can get them at my local craft store. It's not a big box store, but it's not a yarn store. It's just a local craft store called the Craft Barn out in Marysville. They're a pretty nice shop. Little expensive, but the convenience of it being right there and I'm not having to wait like 3 or 4 days for it to be shipped to me is great. But yeah, so it's working out really nice. And I don't know if anybody else is like this, but after you knit so long, your fingers feel rough, so everything feels rough. But this is really soft and nice and all that. It's just after I knit so long, everything feels the same. I don't know why. It's probably just me. But yeah, so I need to knit. I'm almost to my 6-inch point, and then I'll start decreasing for the crown. So this should be a finished object like soon, probably by next podcast. I'm probably not going to take this with me tonight to swim lessons. I'll probably start something else. But anyway, that's one thing I'm working on. That should be a finished object by next podcast. I did not think about where to throw this stuff. And the other thing I'm working on is my son Patrick's bright red glow-in-the-dark sweater, as he puts it. And the pattern is by Katie and the Squid, my favorite crochet pullover. It's on Ravelry. It's a pay pattern, but it's a really good one. And if you don't want like the turtleneck, just do like 5 or 6 chain ribbing around the neck. But my kids like their sweaters. So, but this, I got the body done and I started on a sleeve. There's my Slap Your Llama stitch markers, which I love the little hook clasp ones. But yeah, this is a simple pattern. It's herringbone double crochet. It's super simple and easy. It's pretty flexible. It's not like stiff like most crocheted fabrics. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but Holly from the Proper Pineapple mentioned this, but the seam on the back is straight. And yes, with crochet, the seam usually goes like this, not this. I really don't know why it does that, but unless, because I found this on Catherine's sweater, or a few things, Catherine's sweater, I was doing my last double crochet in the chain 1, where you connect the two together, the double crochet from that row to the next one, and if you do that, then it gets crooked. I'm just really bad at that, so anymore I just put my stitch marker in the chain 1 space where you connect it. Well, where you slip stitch it, not chain 1, slip stitch it, even though it is a chain 1, but you slip stitch it together, and I've been putting my stitch marker there so it reminds me where the end of the row is. So I don't do that, which has helped a lot. So handy tip if you're a crocheter and have that problem. But yeah, so that's coming along good. It shouldn't take me much longer to finish it, but I have stuff I need to get done for Christmas. So that actually will probably be Christmas gift, or I'll get it done just so you can wear it. And then the other two things I'm working on is my spinning. I got some new fiber and I've been spinning it up. It was going to go into what I bought, but since I'm working on it, spinning it, I figured, never mind. But yeah, I thought this would look better, but it doesn't. So one day while me and my husband were out and we're at lunch, and it's going to sound bad, but we were both playing on our phones at the time. We're both sitting there in a restaurant across from each other playing on our phones. But we have like a 20-minute drive to get to the restaurant, so by the time we get there, And we'd also gone and voted and all that. So we had talked all this time and spent all this time together. So we're just kind of he's checking the news. I was on Etsy. So I was checking out hip strings and I found this color. Hey, that's showing up accurate. It's called Russian Unicorn. And it's just this mix of red, black, gold, and red sparkle, which I'm tilting a little bit. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's red sparkle in it. It's gorgeous stuff. I love this. It looks a little darker when you get it spun up, but I then taught myself how to spin from the fold, and it looks a little bit better. But it looks like it's going to be a pretty brownish color in that, so I'm hoping it goes good with the hobbledehoy I just got done spinning. Then I can just put them together in a shawl. But yeah, I'm working on spinning that. Another 4 ounces, so give me a month. And then I ordered some fiber from, sorry, my drop spindle's attached to some of it. I ordered some fiber from, I have it wrote down. I know what it's called. I'm going to butcher it. I'm sorry. I'm just going to butcher it. So it's called Quill and Fiber Arts. And it is, the colorway is called Zombie Prom. So I'm guessing it was a Halloween colorway. But it is this pretty, it goes from this brown to this bright green, turquoise, blue, purple. It's just really pretty. And it's one of the few places I was looking on Etsy. Just kind of, ooh, you can see it really good like that. It's one of the few places where they showed the spun yarn knit up, and it looked really nice. So I'm hoping I can get it close to that. So if it turns out really good, it's going to make something really pretty. And it is, and I had to go look this up. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I had to figure out, because everybody's been mentioning their wool micron, and this came and said it's 22 micron merino. And I was watching somebody else, and they're like, oh, I don't know what that means. I'm like, take 5 minutes and look it up. So, me being the nerd, like I am, I went and looked it up. It mainly means how long the hair is. Well, they say staple length, but it's pretty much the sheep fur wool length. So, the shorter the length, the smaller the number, the shorter the length. And apparently, merino is like the shortest, finest length there is. So, 22 micron is supposed to be really fancy. And I'm a new knitter. Well, not new knitter, but beginner into all this stuff. And I'm just like, and I'm pretty much, it's pretty. If it's pretty, I like it. If it's wool, okay. So I have to hand wash it. That's all I know is I have to hand wash it. Which, everybody makes it sound like it's this really impossible thing. You let it soak in water 15 minutes and then let it dry. Which, it takes longer to dry than to wash. But, that's okay. So, that's all the stuff I'm working on at the moment. It's not much, but I'm going to be starting up some projects and that. And my section on what I bought is going to be longer. So, what I bought is, yes, I have my show notes in front of me. I took time and made show notes. And I just skipped one. So, my mom came up. I love my mom. We love to, she's like, well, but she also loves to tell me like the week she's coming up, which coincided with my payday. So, that worked out good. So, she came up and we decided to go shopping, which is something we both love to do. And she's one of those people, she'll go anywhere, like any store. She'll go clothes shopping with my sister. She'll go Whole Foods and all these natural health food stores with my dad. She went to a local yarn store with me, which I didn't have that great of experience at it, so I'm just not going to mention it. mention the name of the store or anything. It might just be me, you know, I'm not going to go there. But, so, I wanted to go to a local yarn store so I could find some yarn to go with this Leading Men's Fiber Art Harvest skein I bought back in September. I'm sorry if the table's jiggling. I'm trying not to tap the table. So, we went to this yarn shop and I found some Cascade 220 yarn to get to go with it. And one of the first colors I picked up to go with it was this pretty, it's called Cordovan, and it's this really dark brown. And when you look at it in person, it also has like it has like a reddish hint to it. But it's this really pretty dark brown, and I thought it went really good with this. So I got that, and so I was like, well, I need more than just 2 colors. It's worsted weight, so it's only 218 yards for this, and this is 220 yards. That's where the Cascade 2... Sorry, fuzzy. You get those a lot around here. And so this is 220 yards, which is where I figured out the Cascade 220 comes from. Ain't I smart? So I had these two, and I figured I needed a little bit more than this. So I found this. This is called... Okay, which one was this? Oh, okay. This is the Japanese maple. So, these 3 are going to become a... Okay, let me finish. So, and then I decided I wanted another... I used to have this Army... Is one of the first hats I knit, but it was an olive drab army green knit hat I made for my boyfriend at the time because he wanted one. And I'm one of the few people that the whole make your boyfriend something curse actually worked, because pretty much I broke up with him before I got the hat done, and then I stuck with an army green hat, which has since disappeared. I have no idea where it is, and I love that thing because it's just a simple roll-up brim and all that. And so I decided I was going to get me some more green yarn and make me another one. I might not use that pattern, or if I do, that pattern was a Red Heart Gotcha Covered that you got free at Walmart on a little pamphlet. And you can still find it on Ravelry and the internet, so it's still out there. But if I do that pattern, I'm going to cut out a stitch, because they give you an extra stitch because you sew it up the back. So I'm probably going to leave that out and just do it in the round. And the light just changed color, so I have brightness on this side of my face. But anyway, so this is... But then once I got home, I looked at them like, these 4 go together. But in retrospect, I'm just going to stick with this being a hat. And these are going to become a Free Your Fade shawl. Because I looked up and there's a DK version, so this is worsted, so I should be able to finagle it so it works. Should is the operative word. That is one of my favorite phrases at work. They're like, oh, this should work. I'm like, yeah, should is the operative word. That doesn't mean it will. So, those are my 4 skeins from the yarn store. And then we went to Joann Fabrics. Really expensive yarn shop. Then we go to Joann's. I swear, the yarn shop had everything like 10-20% more than it usually is. And because I went to another local yarn store, which I'll tell you about in a minute, and their prices were more normal. I have no idea what these people were on. But I did not have a good experience. I have times where I talk about things like that. So, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep this positive and not go into my experience. Anyway, so while there, I got a few things. I got more yarn, in other words. One of the first things I wanted to get was some needles for making hats. These are the Clover Bamboo knitting needles. They're size 6 and size 8, 16-inch circs. I I usually love bamboo for knitting. I mean, wood's good. I used to love wood, but something about bamboo I like. So I'm going to try these out and see how they go, because I've been into using the Jedidragoon, and these were one of the first ones I found that I really like to use. Which, a little tip, if you make dishcloths with cotton yarn, dishcloths are great if you knit them on like bamboo or wood or something, because it's grippy. And if you use the stainless steel, the metal, it slips a lot, but the bamboo doesn't. It grips onto it and it doesn't slide as much. Of course, I was also a new knitter when I was doing that, so that might be part of it. But I'm going to give those a try, see how they go. So I decided I was going to try a bit of design work. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I might try it. So I decided I'd pick up a skein and try something simple like a cow. So I picked up this, okay, use a different finger than that one, Jen. I picked up this Red Heart Colorscapes. It's 100% acrylic. I think it's 187 yards, so that should be enough to make something with. But it goes from this like blue-green to purple-green, and it's really pretty and soft. It's so soft. But yeah, so this is going to become, I might try a bit of design work. I don't know. I might just make it into something. But we'll see. And I might be able to use these for it. Of course, that would also tie up the needle and I could make my hat, which I have like some hat projects I want to make because I want to switch this out. And while I was there, I saw they had some different colors of the Patons Croy sock. And Patons Croy is the only one I've ever seen that instead of superwash wool, they say it's washable wool. I'm not sure if there's any difference in that, or if they're just trying to dumb it down for people. But I'm pretty sure it's the same as superwash. But I picked up this. It's called Blue Raspberry. It goes from this bright turquoise to dark blue to gray to like a plum purple. But they're really pretty, and I'll probably just use my basic OMG sock pattern for these. But yeah, so I went crazy. I bought more yarn, which I have going to put myself on a no yarn buying restriction and try to use up some of this stuff, which is not going to be easy. So that's what I bought with my mom. Yes, there is more. So my dad wanted me to make him a hat, which he told me this back in the summer. And at the time, he's like, oh, I want this hat. I want 2 colors on this side and a white stripe down the middle. I'm thinking, you want to look like a skunk? My dad, he'll wear anything. Trust me, he will wear anything. My best story of me with him is I was working in the tire department at Walmart. This was the first time I was back there. And I'm working. I'm not paying attention. I'm good at not paying attention. And I'm working. I'm not paying attention. And out of the corner of my eye, I see this customer come in. He has on like sandals and sweatpants that are like holey and stained, and a shirt that's not very... And my first thought that just popped in my head is, who lets their husband out of the house looking like that? Then I look up at his face. It is my dad. And I'm like, oh, well, that explains everything. Mom gave up. She just lets him go. We just say, it's Dad. But anyway, so I asked Mom if she thought he'd like I asked her to ask him. It's complicated. My dad always wants us to call him, but he never answers his phone. So instead, we call Mom. So I had Mom ask Dad if he wanted a Cleveland Browns hat, because he's up from around Cleveland. He said yes. So I picked up this Lolo Did It Dog Pound, which has the Cleveland Browns dark brown, and then it goes into this white with flecks of the Cleveland Brown orange. So I'm going to make him... So this is going to become something for Dad. So, I ordered that, and I also ordered a new drop spindle. And I don't know how many of you have used one of these, but my mother-in-law was over and she was watching me. Okay, I thought I'd do this nice and smooth and take it apart while on camera. It's not working. Okay. My mother-in-law was over and she's looking at, because you wind it by winding the yarn between these. Like, give me 1 sec. Yeah, I'm not a smooth podcaster. But anyway, this is how you wind it on. Like this. She's like, how'd you get that off of there? My response was, it comes apart. So you pretty much pop it off and pull. You pull this out and then you just pull this off and pull this out and you're left with a little ball. Which I tried winding it. I've tried winding yarn from those before. I just wind it up on my ball winder so it makes it a flat bottom so it doesn't roll. And then I apply the two together. As everybody shows it in like a shoebox, applying it together in a shoebox with two drop spindles that are like top whirls and it just rolls off. I use these. It won't work. So anyway, So I got me a new one. This is from Turtle Made spindles, which, see? They printed on the bottom. But I really like this. It's only like $15 or something, which is not a bad price. I thought this was the same as my other one. This one's a little bigger and heavier. So it's taking a little getting used to because it's not as light, but it still works great. And they're pretty nice and durable. I've dropped it on the floor several times. That has not changed. So I got a new one of those. And I ordered some Rollags, which the witchy stockings came before last podcast or after last podcast, and I got excited and spun it up, so you didn't get to see that as a Rollag. But the other one that came is from Blue Barn Fibers, and it is called Purple Carrot. I'm a gardener. I know the reference. This is definitely what purple carrots look like. I have grown them. My husband has asked me why I grow them. I just like weird vegetables. Anyway, so it goes from this bright purple here to darker to sparkles to this copper color. And this is going to be really fun to spin and turn into yarn. It's going to be pretty. By the time I get done spinning these Rollags, which I love to spin, I'm going to have enough for a shawl, which I might do. Anyway, this is Blue Barn Fibers. This is 2 ounces, these two together. And this is a merino. That's all it said on the description. But this is really, really soft and fluffy. And also, when I ordered that, because I had talked to, oh, she sent me 2. I did not know this. Sorry. I haven't opened this package, and I thought I was going to hold it up and show it, and I was like, I might want to open that and not rattle so much so I could show it off. But anyway, when I ordered this, I had ordered previously Jack's Lament, and I thought it came with like silver sparkle in it, but apparently there's an option for that, and I didn't know that. It happens. So she said, oh, just let me know, and I'll send you some to play with. So I thought she'd send me like she'd sent me one of them. I just opened it. I got another 2 ounces. So this is the Jack's Lament with the silver. I showed you the Jack's Lament, but it goes from like a brighter purple to dark to the silver. So I already have some of this spun up and I know what it looks like. So with the silver in there, it's going to be neat to see how that turns out. So I'm excited. When she said she was going to send me some and I saw the package, I thought, oh, she just sent me one little one. So yeah, I can play with that and see. But apparently I have another 2 ounces. I highly recommend Blue Barn Fibers. It's amazing what happens when you just talk to people. That just amazes me. So that's what I got off the internet and ordered. And then yesterday was my day off, and I had to get out of the house. I went out of the house. I don't know. I just have to get out sometimes. So I took my daughter and we went down to IKEA so I could get a salad spinner for my yarn. And while we were out, I was looking at, while we were eating, I was looking at my map and I saw that one of the yarn stores called 614 Knit Studio down in Columbus was only 11 minutes from IKEA. I'm like, well, that takes away my excuse for not going because it's like 47 minutes from my house. I was like, So I asked my husband if he cared if I went. He said no, so I went. And I tried to behave myself. I got 3 things. So one of the things I got, and I left it in the other room, but it's one of these Tufts soaps for hand washing your knittables. And I wanted to try the stuff, but I didn't want to get online because I wasn't sure about how it would smell in that, because a description online doesn't always smell the same, if that makes sense. Because I wanted to smell them before I bought them because I'm sensitive to smells, and it's a whole thing where I have to... No, that's not what I needed. It's in there. That's just my hubby. He's getting it for me. It's over on the desk. By the couch. We have 2 desks. One's an end table. It's a long story. It should be in a little brown package with a string. Anyway. It's right on the corner. This is life around here. Anyway, so while he's looking for that, I also bought this Ancient Arts worsted in the Thank you, honey. So, this is the Tufts woolen. And like I said, I wanted to smell it. So, this smells really good. It's Mojito, which is a lime... I think it's like a lime tequila drink. But it smells really good. It's the best one I smelled out of them. I didn't want lavender because I just didn't want lavender. And I fell in love with this scent. It's really strong, but that's okay. It doesn't smell like overpowering. And it's just Tufts woolen sock soap. And it's 4 ounces, which is funny because that's how much my fiber I order in the braids weighs. But anyway, it comes in this nice little package, brown with a little string, and I should really get some of this for my mom, for her hand washing. But she'd probably just look at me like I'm nuts. Anyway, which I am. So I got that, and then I got this Ancient Arts La Cruz. I wrote it down. That doesn't help. It's Lascaux. And there's no color listed on this. So I went on the website to try to figure out what color it is. Because somebody else I was talking to on Instagram, Erin from Fiber Hustle. And as near as I can tell, the color is Fortuous. And it's this real, it just goes through dark shades of purple and blue. It's coming up pretty accurate in the camera, so you can see all the different colors, and ooh, it works really good that way. And this is the only yarn label where instead of listing, like this much wool, this much nylon, and all this list, I will get the label out and read it, because I found this interesting. I had to go online and look up, see what it meant. It says 25% Manx log tan, which is a type of sheep from the Andes. And then 75% Punta Arenas wool. Punta Arenas is a place in Chile. So this is Chilean wool. As you can see, this is what it says. So I saw that. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? So I had to go online, look it up. And it's I'm assuming one is like the specific breed and the other one is just a mixed bag of a lot of sheep from that area. Yeah. So I got that. This is going to be a hat because I knit this. I love the color. I knit it. I still love it. I just wear my colors I usually wear are blue and purple. And with the main part being purple. So I was like, I should really get some purple yarn and make me a hat. So I did. So this is going to become a hat for me, which I'm only going to use half this, so then I'll have to figure it. The thing about this, though, I was winding this. It is sticky. It sticks to itself like nothing else. I spin yarn. It doesn't stick to itself as much as this stuff. It has like little grippers on the entire part of the yarn. So once I get this knit, it's not going to come apart. It just, it's like little Velcro. I have never had a yarn like that. Because as you can see, it does not let go very easily. So yeah, this is the first time I've ever had really grippy yarn. If somebody could explain that to me in the comments, that would be nice, but it's just really weird for me. So, I got that. I got the soap. And then I saw this. This is Fab Juice Fibers Lambtail. And the color is, here, you can take a look at the label. In a Nutshell Jewel. It's 5 ounces of Blue Face Leicester, or BFL. BFL means Blue Face Leicester. I thought, and me being me, I nerded out and decided, I'll go see what this means. Okay, so Blue Face Leicester is a sheep breed. And from what I could find, and if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, Blue Face Leicester was originally developed as a meat sheep breed. But spinners have fallen in love with spinning the yarn and have the popularity of this wool for spinning is growing. So it's basically a multi-purpose sheep. So if anyone is wanting a multi-purpose sheep that you can use for wool and meat, go with a Blue Face Leicester. That's my homesteading tip. But anyway, it goes from this really dark teal green to this blue, this dark purple, lighter plum, and this magenta. That's the color I'm looking for. So, and I showed this off in one of my Facebook spinning groups, and they're like, how are you going to spin that? Which I didn't even think about. So my response was, wing it. What I think I'm going to do is pull off a chunk, spin that, grab the neck color, pull off a chunk, and just do that in succession. And that'll probably give me a variegated yarn, in theory. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I guess I could just spin each one separately, but the way I spin, I'll figure it out. Like I said, I'll wing it. I like my idea of spinning them individually and mixing them together, though. If I had a blending board, that probably would work good, but... And then I got home and I thought about it. My braids have been 4 ounces, and you have heard me complain that they take forever. That's the ADHD getting impatient. This is 5 ounces. So I got a whole extra ounce. So this is another month's worth of spinning. And then some. I might just spin them each individually. But anyway. That is all my purchases. So that's all the stuff I bought. See what I'm saying? I'm putting myself on a yarn diet. Anyway, so the next thing I want to talk about is my future projects. Well, I guess FOs could stand for future objects. Anyway, so Christmas is coming up, and I kind of just realized this. Okay, I realized it like the day after Halloween, which probably everybody did. That gives me about 2 months to get these things done. Which, on vacation, I proved that you can knit 2 pairs of socks in a week. course, that involved, I had a lot of long car rides and that. So I'm going to be starting on my Christmas knitting crocheting. One I've already started on, and I didn't think about it till I got over here and had everything done. I have a Cakes 2 to Tango shawl for my mom, which I was trying to convince her to let me make her a shawl. Because she always complains she gets cold in church and buildings and stuff. And I'm like, if you had a shawl, you could wear that, and then you could unravel it, keep you warm. She's like, no, I don't want to look like a grandma. My mom is in her 70s, and she does not want to look like a grandma. And she is. I don't understand my mother. But she does not act like your typical old lady. That much is for sure. So, she was over, and it got kind of cool in the house. It's an old house. So I pulled out my Cakes 2 Tango shawl I made for myself, and I showed off. And I was like, here, Mom, put this. I had it out. She's like, let me see that. So I let her have it, and she tried it on, wrapped it around. She's like, this would be perfect for church. I love this. I'm like, I told you so. Actually, I didn't say that because I didn't want to get yelled at. She really doesn't like I told you so. So I'm making her a Cakes 2 to Tango shawl. That's going to be my church crochet project. As bad as that sounds, it's not. Because it's a nice mindless knit. And I get a crap load of crocheting done in church. Because the ADHD, you can't sit still. And it's either you can't sit still or your attention wanders if you're not sitting still. So it's more like you're looking around. If you're holding your body still, your mind decides to go in 500 directions while you're trying to focus on the preacher talking to you. So you may be sitting here still, but your mind's going ding, 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 kind of like this podcast, which I tried to keep focused. So I find if I have my hands busy crocheting, my mind does not wander and I can pay attention to the preacher a whole lot better. So I take it, but I have to take like a mindless knitting or else I totally don't get what he's saying. So this crochet project, it's just linen stitch and increases that I don't even have to look at a pattern. So I just got to remember to switch yarns every 2 rows. And yeah, so, and I took her out and had her pick out the colors because I am not going to do surprise knitting projects for people. It does not work. So I made sure she picked out the colors. I picked out I picked out a neutral color because I like to have a nice neutral color. And then I picked out like a really bright pop color. And at first I got her this nice one with yellows and all this. She did not like that one. Well, she liked it, but, and then I showed her one I really liked, which was one of my colors. Is like a pink goes purple and all that. So she liked that. She's like, oh, I like that. I'm like, you like the same colors as me. Oh, well. So anyway, I'm working on that. And so I decided I wanted to make her a pair of Christmas socks. So I caked this up last night so I can get started on it. This is going to be my swimming pool knitting. Swim lesson knitting. And TV watching knitting. My spending's going to take a back burner. I need to get this done. So this is Mom's Christmas socks. And then sometime tonight, I'm going to cake this up so I can get started on my friend Holly's socks. Yeah, this is Desert Vista Dye Works. The color is like holiday white stripes. It's just your traditional colors. Red, green, white. They'll look like candy canes. This is Honeybee Knits, her 7520, which is 75% merino, 25% nylon. That's pretty much a basic sock yarn. The color is, if I want exposure, I'll get my tits out. Just Google that. It'll explain all of it. I'm not going into that story. But anyway, it goes from this bright yellow, orange, dark purple, lighter pink, and then this neon pink. So, yeah, these aren't really my colors, but I know the person I'm making for will like them. So, I just gotta kick this up and start knitting socks. And then, hopefully if I got time, I will get my Christmas socks done. This is Nomadic Yarns, her trusty sock base, and this is Santa's Little Helper. It's bright green, dark green, red, silver, and black, and gold. So, it's an elf and a sock. So, and yes, I did not cake this up. When you order it, you can either get the gumball, which looked really neat, but was more, or the yarn cake. I went with the yarn cake because I like the yarn cake. And then the other thing I'm making is my dad a barley light hat and fingerless mitts. Because he wears like these fingerless gloves, and I think he'll really like that. I just gotta get his hand size. And I think I'll have enough for it. And then I'm making me a barley hat. So, that's all the stuff I've worked on. Which I've bought way too much yarn. Yeah, so I gotta get my butt in gear with my knitting, get some stuff done, get some stuff started, keep 3 little children under control, all that. So if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. Talk to you later. Bye.